We're going to compare two scriptures, a very well-known scripture, by the way, this one, and we're going to compare it with two polar opposite biblical reference books. One being the King James Version, which people do love, and the other, a more modern one, known as the New World Translation of the Holy Scriptures. And we're going to compare this one scripture, and it's the First Thessalonians 5 verse 3. And the reason why we need to compare this scripture is because we could be on the precipice of this now. That's why it's so important that we understand it. So the King James Version says of 1 Thessalonians 5:3, for when they shall say peace and safety, remember that, peace and safety they use there, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travelling upon a woman with a child, and they should not escape. So the King James Version is an older publication than the New World Translation, isn't it? And a lot of people still use it extensively. But that scripture is not as accurate as the New World Translation. For when you read the same scripture in New World Translation, you get, whenever it is that they are saying peace and security, then sudden destruction is to be instantly upon them, just like birth pains upon a pregnant woman, and they will by no means escape. Pretty similar, except for the fact that the King James uses peace and safety. So the reason why I'm mentioning this is not nitpicking. This is not someone that's trying to promote just a personal viewpoint. This is an absolute startling fact, because when we go to Article 51 of the UN Charter, we know that this happened some time ago. I can't remember the exact year, but they use peace and security. So they're an organization that is trying to maintain international peace and security. They don't say peace and safety. Why don't the United Nations mirror reflect the King James Version of that scripture? Why don't they say peace and safety? Well, for me, there can only be one reason for it, and that is that the New World Translation is more accurate, far more accurate. And if I had to pin my life on the two publications, every day of the year, I would pin my life on the New World Translation. That is an important fact to consider. That the times we're living in now, the United Nations is likely to convene and meet very shortly over the Israel-Palestine issue. And they're an organization that is trying to promote international peace and security. Article 51. That is quite startling. That a New World Translation that was originally from the Greek Septuagint, that means that if the UN Charter get together and they sort of bring this sort of pseudo peace and security deal and sell it to the world, it means what? It means that whoever has been putting their trust in the New World Translation is likely to be proven right. That's just my thoughts on that. Everybody can draw their own conclusions, but it's interesting, and I couldn't do another video today without including this because of the seriousness of what's happening with Israel. And already there's people coming forward to support Palestine. So this has all the makings of the Gog and Magog war. The Bible talks about Megiddo, and all the nations being dragged by the Creator, by the Almighty, at a time of His choosing to their final destruction. The main important fact to take away from this is that this will be the start, once the peace and security goes up, this will be the start of the countdown to Armageddon. Of course, we've got a few things to happen in between, but this will be that countdown period. I think the clock will start moving once the peace and security deal goes through. Just my opinion. What do you think, peeps? I'll leave it with you to think about.